and I was getting like 250 a month, which times 12 is like 3,000. So by the end of the 18 months, I had done nothing with my salary. Hello guys, and welcome back to Views from the Skew. It's me again, your host, the Queen Curate. I'm so excited that you have joined yet another video, and if you're new here, please please feel free to hit the subscribe button. I hope you're gonna love it here. Views from the Skew is that place that uses real life and fictional stories to help each other better our personal making decisions. Now, I've just started a series called the Money-ger series, aptly named after money management, and we're talking more about how to manage our personal and business finance. I did a video last year on my experience as an entrepreneur, and I think I got really good a really good response, so I thought maybe you guys are into that kind of content, so I'll be sharing more of that. And just to separate it from some of the other crazy stuff that I do, this is going to be in the Money-ger segment, and I'm also going to create a playlist with all the money specific topics that we do. So today we'll be talking about how to manage our salaries. Somebody came to me and said, yo, you really need to teach us how do you do this. In the future we will be talking a little bit more about business finance. We'll talk about budgeting as well, the types of budgets that are there and how you can choose one that aligns most with you. We'll talk about managing black tax, how to slay queen on a budget, managing your working capital, and so forth and so forth. So I do hope that you're excited for that, and if you want to see more videos, please make sure that you subscribe. And if you're not already following me on Instagram, please follow the link in my bio so that we can have a conversation. I asked some guys on there to share their questions on what they would expect for me to talk about, and I've gotten some very good questions. I'm so excited. I might even give you guys like a video a week at this rate, to be honest, because yes, I love talking about money. So I had my first job in 2015. It was a paid internship. I worked at two companies. One was an industrial and mining focused company, and then I moved on and I started working at Zesa. And my experience there, to be honest, I hated it. I just hate it, but I really loved the 25th of every month, and that's because that's when we got paid. I really loved it. And the thing about me back then was I just didn't know who I was. So what would happen was I would wait for the money to come, and then as soon as I get that notification to say there's money, what I would then do is on my way home, the route that you use to commute, because when you're going Makombi, that route that I would always pass by, I would say, you know what, I always pass the shop, and I've always thought that was nice. Then I'd walk in and I would buy it. If it came on a day that I was feeling hormonal, guess what I was doing? I was buying myself some some food. And so by the end of the 18 months, which was my internship period, I think, I had done nothing with my salary. I'd done absolutely nothing. I used to travel a lot to Harare. I just love Harare, man. It makes me feel so alive. So I would travel a lot, especially on payday, and then that's it. I had not a single thing that I could account towards that money, and I was getting like 250 a month, which times 12 is like 3,000 dollars, and I did absolutely nothing. That I didn't save, I didn't contribute anything at home. My dad was still taking me to work. He was buying lunch for me. I did not even build a capsule wardrobe. I didn't have brand new clothes, like literally, guys. I wonder what I did for all those months. And so when I finally made the move to stay here in Harare, I was like, you know what, I want to be a little bit more cognizant of how I spend money. And so I started learning, and I started doing better. So I'll be sharing some of those tips with you today, and I hope that you're excited, and let's get into it. So the first tip, right, is that you need to prepare a budget every beginning of the month, I would say. Do it every beginning of the month, and this is why. So you know that time when you get paid at the end of the month, so we're in the month of September, and you just got paid your last month's salary, you've already spent it, and you notice that there are a few things that are missing, and you've got your month-on-month expenses. So you want to, like, you know, lay down your month-to-month expenses, the things that you're expecting every month to be making payments towards, and the things that you couldn't fulfill this particular month. Just lay them down in a list. So once you've got that budget, it could be more than what you're earning or less than what you're earning, but it really helps you to know where the money needs to go, such that when you get it, you don't have that fatigue that comes with earning money that's not really enough. And I know what it's like on payday. You'll be stressed, you'll be wishing you would just quit because it doesn't make sense. So do it before and have that budget. You know, just whether you're adding things or subtracting things, just make it make sense by the time that final day actually comes. So you want to look realistically at what you are able to do and what you're not able to do every month. And that's why I say at the beginning of the month, because already you've seen, oh, okay, I could only do so much with my salary. So in the next month, it will help you to set a realistic budget, something that's within your spending, and something that will, you know, obviously be realistic, more close to reality for you and more practical for you. You also want to reduce recurring expenses. So I know a lot of us, once we start working, we open accounts here, we open accounts there, and sometimes we even get into the habit of getting things on lay-by. But you want to reduce those kinds of expenses because they really stress you out. Like, imagine during the month where, I mean, this is Zim, right? You never really know what's going to happen in the fiscal market in the next month, sorry. Even in this month that you're in, if it's going to be enough to pull you through to the, you know, end of the month. So you always want to get rid of those recurring expenses and just stick to things that you either afford to pay cash for or that you can save for and then buy later. All right, so that's the first tip. Prepare a monthly budget at the beginning of every month. Don't wait until the money is there for you to start to figure out, what do I do with it? Tip number 2, write down and prioritize all of your spending. So what I do is I have a month-to-month budget that includes things like rent, motor vehicle expenses, medical aid bills. I've got my ZESA, my gas, my rates. I've got my airtime and internet expenses, and then I've got my family, you know, obligations that I also need to contribute towards. And I also include a miscellaneous expenses, and it's not really miscellaneous in that sense, but these are monies that are usually directed towards things like grooming, for instance. My grooming, things like skincare, perfume, because they're very expensive, but they're not like needs, they're more like wants. And then you also have your wardrobe and styling items, and sometimes even your travel can get in there if you're not somebody who if you're someone that travels, I mean, right? So I'd like to put like a certain amount away for that every month. I don't know if it makes sense. So you know, if you're investing in your skin and you probably need let's say roughly $50 for you to buy your skincare set, right? But you can't afford to buy that $50, to pay that $50 outright when all your skincare just, you know, needs to be replenished. So what you need to do is to set a certain amount just away every month towards that. And it also helps for household items, things that you need to buy. For instance, if you want to get new pillows or new blankets, or you want to get morning gown, and so forth and so forth. And if you're also somebody who's into style, I think it also helps. So I create all of those lists. I created a list for my groceries. I created a list for my groceries. There's a standing list that I have on my phone. So this is the list, monthly groceries. And when you get into this list, you can see all the items that need to be bought and all the items that haven't been bought. So this is like a month-on-month list that I've prepared, and I check items that I don't need items that I've already bought, and I leave the other items open to remind myself to buy those things. All right, so it's pretty long because I try to get everything in there, from my spices to my cleaning items. I've tried to get my all my grooming stuff, all my meats, and all of those things. So do the same thing for your skincare, and also create a list for your skincare, a list for your wardrobe items, a list for your travel itinerary, and all of the expenses that you're expecting to incur, and be realistic about how much can I put away every month towards that. So once you've got lists, it helps you to check goals that you have, or things that you need to spend on a monthly basis. Third thing is have money goals. So what is your goal currently? Are you looking to save for something specific? Are you just wanting to exercise your saving muscle for a rainy day? Do you want to build startup capital? Are you saving towards travel? Are you saving towards health expenses? Like, have a specific goal. What do you want to do? Do you want to invest? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? I think it really helps if you have like an overarching goal that goes beyond just your month-to-month expenses, because on the month that you've got a surplus, on a month that you don't need to buy certain items, then you can actually put your money towards that. If you want to build a 3-month emergency fund, a 6-month emergency fund, a 1 year emergency fund, then you know that, okay, if I've got extra, if I've done very well in the last 2 months and I'm able to save 200, then I'm putting it towards that, because my monthly expenses are $800, and if I want to save for 3 months, I probably need to have like 2.4 stashed somewhere. Okay, yeah. So that's the thing. If it's for education, you want to go back to school, or you've got kids, it can also help. All right, run away from debt. That's the fourth thing. I can't stress this enough, guys. If you can't afford something, leave it. Especially, I think with us girls, you find that we get into debt for silly things like doing our hair and doing our makeup and going to parties and all of that. And if you're somebody who's taking care of your own finances, you don't have somebody to lean on, don't do it. Don't do it. If the person that you thought was going to be your savior in that department is not showing up, if your minister of finance is not showing up, just don't do it. Don't borrow that dress, those shoes, that bag, that hair. Don't do it. It's not worth it. And just be so cognizant of how much you are spending on a month-on-month basis, and don't gamble with that money. Don't say, the can boy spend and then next week goes over the rent, and then I can cover and cover. It's just a lot of stress, and at our big age, we don't do that. We don't do that. If you can't afford something, it's okay to say, you know what, I can't afford this, and then you leave it. And maybe one day you will, and maybe you won't. But that's not a train smash, It's not a train smash at all. So just run away from debt. I cannot stress this enough. Personally, debt stresses me. I don't like owing people. I'd rather owe myself than owe somebody else. And yeah, I can't say that enough. It's just run away from debt, and really just live within your means, man. If you can't afford to go out, if you can't afford a certain lifestyle, if you can't afford to travel, do what you can do at that time. Do budget traveling if you can. Go the other side of Samora. You know what I mean? Like, just do what you can to not have to borrow and land yourself in debt, especially in the case where it accrues interest. That thing is just isn't like interest rate like 13% or something? That's crazy. Just don't do it. And Ganaturi is like a proper institution, and it's like a person, it's probably like 20, 30, 50%. So guys, I can't, just leave it. The fifth thing is, I want to say, start playing Mukando. Okay, every month. I know some of you are like, what is that? It's this thing that I don't know how it started, but I really love it. So do rounds. What rounds are is like 4, 5, 6, 7, even 10 people come together, and they say, every month we're giving $100 dollars towards this person, and then the next month give to the next person, and so forth. So sometimes you can give 2 people in a month. If you're a large group of, like, say, let's say 10 people, you can afford to give 2 people every month, so that by the end of the year, everybody has been through the cycle at least 2 times. I think this is what South Africans call Stokvel. I'm not very sure, but Stokvel really sounds like something that aunties and moms do, and here it's just become like a very big thing. People that are entrepreneurs that, you know, are selling, do it on a daily basis, and sometimes on a month-on-month basis. So you find that somebody's in 4 or 5 rounds, some that are required to be paid every day, others every week, others every fortnight, and others every month. But when you're employed, it might be hard to do every day or every week, unless if you're getting a wage. So try and get into one of those things. It helps you to set aside money specific for big things that you want to get. You might be wanting to refurnish your house or just furnish it. You want to travel, maybe you want to pay school fees, you've got a project to build, and so forth. You want to start a business. It really helps. So sometimes, even if when you haven't figured out what you do with the money, it's also helpful for you to keep it away somewhere or give it to somebody, and then get all the money at a point in time where you are more relaxed and more decided. I think the last thing that you want is to get your own money and then it goes towards your month-to-month expenses, like you've literally saved for nothing. I wish there was a way to say, if you're doing $100 with 5 people and you get $500 after 5 months, you could put it somewhere where it accrues interest. But this is I know a lot of banks are more concerned about my proof of residence. Yeah, ID, you know, they're not really in terms of value, they're not giving us value. And you know, I think it's because maybe we withdraw all of our money, or I don't know. Unfortunately, you can't even get like a fixed savings account for you to, you know, accrue interest on a month-on-month basis. But Mukando is a good thing. It's a good thing. Yeah, I love it. I believe in it. So those are my 5 tips on how to manage your salary. Do know that it's important for you to realize and accept when your remuneration isn't doing a lot for you. By remuneration, I mean your salary or your wages, and to complement it with other income or side hustle. That's important, and you can do that when it's, you know, possible for you to do it. So guys, that's it from me. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions on personal and business finance, please let me know below. I'm trying to build like something that's, you know, for Zim people, because we don't live in a good economy. It's not perfect, and so I hope that this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. So thank you so much for watching, and please remember that you're doing very well and you've got everything that you need to be what you want to be. See you next time. Please subscribe. Yeah, I'm waiting.